If you are a marketing agency and you want to bring on more home services clients, this is going to show you how to generate around 10 discovery calls per month. And realistically, you can probably scale it up to 50 discovery calls per month if you like. So this is going to go through how we do it for a few different agencies. We probably work with maybe 12 marketing agencies at the moment that are in the home services space. And I'm going to show you what's working today. So we do this through cold email outbound. And the reason why we like cold email outbound is one, because that's what we're good at. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. And secondly, it is quite scalable and it's relatively cheap. So probably running ads is more scalable. However, it's quite expensive and you need a lot of cash flow to figure out and understand what you're doing. Cold email is a little bit cheaper and probably a little bit easier, I'd say. So there's typically two approaches. One is outcome-based angles, where you say, hey, we help plumbing companies get result, or hey, we help roofing companies get result. The second outcome, which is probably what I'm going to focus on most here, is using a lead magnet. And a lead magnet is essentially a free bit of work that they would otherwise pay for, that you're willing to give them for free to start a conversation. Okay? So just to be very clear, you should not talk about your services in either of them. Why? Because if they wanted your services, they would be an inbound lead. If there was a plumbing company out there that wanted marketing services, you're not just going to email them at the right time. It doesn't work like that. They will either already, if they like marketing services, it's because they already have a company that they're happy with and they're not going to probably bring you on. And so just make the assumption that they don't like marketing services, okay? If they wanted your services, they would either be an inbound lead for you or your competitor, okay? So what do I mean when I say outcome-based angles? So here's some examples, and this is for kitchen remodeling. Hey Bill, we connect kitchen remodeling companies with local homeowners actively planning renovations. Typically they're doing a complete kitchen overhaul, but sometimes they're just after custom cabinetry or soft close drawers. Most of these leads are homeowners who've recently bought a home or are getting it ready for sale. We typically add 4 to 6 new jobs every month. Projects involving premium finishing like two-tone cabinets, pull-out shelving, or frameless designs. Would love to have a chat, happy to share what we do, and you can take the info and run. So why does this work? So one, you're trying to avoid being put in the bucket of, oh, it's just another marketing agency. So we're trying to avoid that. We're also trying to be specific about the type of result so it's more believable and more compelling. Think about if you played basketball on the weekend and you rolled your ankle really badly and you woke up the next day and it was really sore and you had 2 options of painkillers. You had a normal painkiller and you had the day after basketball rolled ankle painkiller. You would believe this one's going to do a better job because it's more specific to your exact situation. And so when you are more specific about the exact type of outcome, the type of lead in this case, and how many, then it's more believable that you can actually do that. Like, why would they be so specific about two-tone cabinets in their email if they don't actually get two-tone cabinet leads? Okay? If you just say, we get more leads, meh. Not that interesting, okay? So be very specific about the type of leads. Hey Kelly, do you have capacity for any additional jobs in the coming months? We help decking and patio companies grow by increasing lead flow, mostly residential jobs in the local area. Typically this results in 4 to 6 new jobs per month. Lots of them are people who have either just purchased or who are renovating their property for sale. So an easy way to do this is just talk about people who are getting their property ready for sale, because many home service companies have a large portfolio of clients, which are people getting their property ready for sale, because that's typically when people like to do nice things to their property. So that's the outcome-based angle. And I just want to put a word of warning here. So we probably like doing the outcome-based angle most because it's going to get you the best responses. However, you need to be willing to deal and have the ability to deal with cold prospects, because if you are trying to sell these people, let's say they sell SEO, right? If you get a call booked off the back of this copy and then you just go straight into try and pitching SEO, it's incongruent and you're going to run into sales resistance, right? They're like, I didn't get on a call to talk to you about SEO. You said that you could get me two-tone cabinet jobs, right? So you need to make sure that you have a robust sales process that takes that lead all the way to wanting more two-tone cabinet jobs and seeing SEO or whatever it is that you sell as the solution. So that typically involves a two-step sale, and I can talk about how we do that in another video. So that's not for today. Lead magnets, on the other hand, you're typically not promising any particular outcome in the lead magnet. Well, you can sometimes, but you are just going to be in your sales process delivering that lead magnet, and then it's a lot more natural to move them into the next step. So that's why I'm going to run through that here, because I think if you're not willing to fully tackle the sales side of things, a lead magnet probably gets you warmer prospects. When I say warmer, I just mean they're more calibrated to what you're going to do on that discovery call or introductory call. So here's an example for a plumber. Howdy Spencer, would you be interested in a free analysis showing how many leads other local plumbing companies are getting and where they're coming from? Maybe from companies like these. And then we've got two of their competitors in their local area. We've got Woody's Plumbing and Yield and Sons Construction. We reach out to a few businesses each month and thought you could be interested. Let me know what you think. All right, so here's one example. Here's another example. This is for Kairos, but it'll work as a lead magnet for home services. And this is a bit more sophisticated. Hey Caleb, sorry for the unsolicited email. Just wanted to let you know that your practice was one of the practices that our team recently secret shopped, as well as a few others in the area, including, and they've got the other chiropractors in the area. Some of the results caught us off guard, right? So we want to leave an open loop. What do you mean they caught us off guard? And I thought you would appreciate knowing the results, i.e. did anyone call us, how long it took to call us back, etc. Let me know if you're open to a quick chat and I can share what we found. So this company actually does secret shop people. So if you don't, it's going to be a hard one to pull off. But again, you can see why that's something that's of value to the practice or to the roofing company. Like, how well does your follow-up front desk person compare to others in the area? Okay. So what you can probably think of a few other different ways that you can do this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly tell you how you would pull off this one. All right. So this is we could just call it the competitor analysis angle, and it's easy to set up relatively, and you can just start it and keep it running, especially for something like plumbing companies where there's heaps of them. You can just run it, and you typically get around 10 calls a month, and I'll show you the volume to do that. So step one, you scrape a list of companies using a Google Maps scraper. We're using a Google Maps scraper if we are going after something like plumbing companies, because data, let's say on LinkedIn, just isn't as good as data on Google, because a lot of plumbing companies that are actually making a decent amount of money aren't necessarily on LinkedIn. So you'd use a Google Maps scraper. We use Phantom Buster, but there's plenty out there on the market, and Phantom Buster is kind of expensive. For service businesses, this will get you the best data. So once you have a list, you need to tidy up that list somewhat. So I would say, because you're doing Google Maps scrape, you typically have the amount of Google reviews. And for services companies, if they have no Google reviews, they're probably not very good. So just filter out companies with less than 5 Google reviews. They're typically too small. And that'll remove a lot of the crap. Then you need to verify all the email addresses that you've scraped. And we use Million Verifier, but again, you can use whatever you choose. Then this is where it gets interesting. So we're going to use a software called Clay and an AI integration. So I'll explain what that means now. In Clay, if you've seen Clay, this will be extremely simple looking Clay table to you. If you haven't seen Clay, this may look very complex. Just think of it as a CSV file, an Excel sheet, a Google sheet. We've got the business name, we've got their website, we've got their location, and then what we're doing is we're essentially saying, hey, can you please look at this? We're saying, hey, can you please look at this business and their location and return 3 competitors? Okay, that's all we're saying. And then they're coming back to us with 3 competitors, and then we're using that as a custom variable in the email, meaning that this part here, this part in the middle here, is just a custom variable that will change for every prospect based on their particular competitors. Okay, so then what you can do is you can just export this from Clay, and then that's going to have all your data that you can use in your sending tool like SmartLead or Instantly. Okay, and you're going to send out those emails. So currently our reply rate's around 4%, the call booking rate's around 0.3%. So if you send out 3,000 emails a month, you should book around 10 calls a month. So hopefully you got some value out of this. If you have any questions, leave them down below, or you can book in a call with us down below as well, and we can answer any questions that you have. Hope you appreciate the video. Peace.